This is the city that said, yes, we can. President Barack Obama. This is also the city that's going to launch the first black woman of Asian descent to the most powerful position in the land, arguably one of the most powerful positions in the world.
Arguably, I think you could arguably say that President of the United States is arguably one of the most powerful positions in the world. And this identity politics thing has gone completely berserk, hasn't it? Do you choose the person because of their race? Well, the Democrat Party, the party of the bullwhip and the plantation, does. A lot of white liberal guilt, you know. Well, happy Monday once again, and welcome back. The New York Times today has a headline. The headline is Progressive Patriotism. They've coined a new term, a new phrase just for Kamala Harris, progressive patriotism. I always think of Woodrow Wilson, the progressive Democrat president that racially segregated the military and invited the KKK to the White House. That's progressive patriotism. At her first rally with Tim Walz, Kamala Harris delivered a riff about their quintessentially American backgrounds. She grew up in Oakland, California, raised by a working mother. That's because Dad, the Jamaican father, abandoned the household. And, you know, that makes her better, I think. And that make her better? So she grew up in Oakland, California, raised by a working mother, while he grew up on the Nebraska plains, she explained. They were two middle-class kids. They put that in quotation marks, she said. Now trying to make it to the White House together. Only in America, Harris said. I think that's Don King. Isn't that Don King of the boxing ring fame? Don King. Only in America, only in America. As the crowd burst into chants of USA, USA, which they called jingoism and militarism and frightening when Republicans chant USA. But never mind that. Isn't that amazing? And the New York Times, The Morning, Harris's muscular patriotism. Wait a minute, they got muscular patriotism here because progressive patriotism is muscular patriotism, and that's the New York Times. Isn't that great? And they've got muscular patriotism and demented patriotism because they're anti-patriotic. Progressive patriotism, that doesn't exist. That's oxymoronic. Don't be ridiculous. Speaking of the muscular patriotism, violent mobs of demented lunatics gathered by the thousands on the streets of Chicago yesterday, chanting, "Kill the Jews, kill the Jews." Is that what they were chanting? They're just doing that Palestine, Palestine, whatever it's supposed to be now. Got your Palestine thing. So isn't that amazing? Ah, yes. Secret code. All right, let's see. Let's go to the telephones because we're straightening it out here. Let's go to William calling from Manassas, Virginia. Wilhelm, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Thanks for taking my call. Good to talk to you again.
Welcome.
So the ABCs that's upcoming, with Kamala and Trump, and I was thinking that Trump should totally call out Kamala for not and the Democrats and ABC for not allowing Robert F. Kennedy on stage, because if he was on stage, he would have zero chance of winning the election.
If Robert F. Kennedy Jr. were on stage, who would have zero chance of winning?
Kamala would, just because, again, you can disagree with a lot of things about Kennedy, but he actually says things, whereas Kamala, she just does a bunch of word salads. And most people are only supporting Kamala because anyone but Trump. And, if there's another person, hey, there's another person that's not Trump. Oh, it sounds like a great guy.
You saw, William, the other day, I guess it was Friday, that a story broke, and it was not something of a story, that RFK Jr. had gone to the Kamala Harris campaign and offered to throw his support behind Kamala in exchange for perhaps a cabinet position in her alleged administration, right? And and they said no. In fact, they blew him off. They didn't. They were disrespectful to him, and he came out and he said some pretty harsh stuff about Kamala Harris and how today's Democrat Party wouldn't be recognized by his father or his uncle, RFK, obviously, and John F. Kennedy, his uncle, that today's party wouldn't be recognized by his father and his uncle. And he's right about that, of course, RFK Jr. is. And RFK Jr., he says some things that sometimes make you scratch your head, but he's more thoughtful than the average Democrat, isn't he, William?
Yeah, although I would say that story was actually complete nonsense, because all the sources said, "Oh, we have anonymous sources who said that he reached out and asked to endorse." They're trying to paint him as just an opportunist who doesn't actually stand on principle.
Well, he came out with a very interesting statement afterward. That's for sure. Regardless of whether he approached them and talked about a swap, in exchange for a cabinet position of some kind, which, and everybody was acting shocked when that story broke. That's so, how terrible. That's how politics has worked forever. And, I'll throw my support. I'm a governor. I'll throw my support behind you. I've got a big name, the Kennedy family. I'll throw my name behind you. I'll support you in exchange for, I want to be defense secretary, because then I'll get rich afterward, or, whatever the scam is. But that's how politics works. And look, I actually, respect RFK Jr. enough to let him speak. William, they're doing everything they can to keep him off of ballots and to sideline anybody that might be competition. They're also doing Who's the Green Party, Jill Stein. They're trying to have her taken off of ballots too, because if it's a close race in Wisconsin or something, and Jill Stein, radical left Green Party, Enviro nut, gets 1% of the vote, it could swing the election in Wisconsin and therefore the presidency of the United States. So they're doing everything they can, William. In order to save democracy, they have to destroy it, you see. And, Joe Biden democratically won the Democratic Party's nomination by going through the primary process, and they threw that over, and then undemocratically chose Kamala Harris, who had not won a single vote in the primaries this time around or in 2020, hasn't won a single vote, and they just declare her to be the nominee. It's the most undemocratic thing the country's ever seen, and the news media just gives them a tongue bath because, William, that our news media is the most corrupt institution in America, right?
Well, I mean, they're paid to be that way.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. I mean, it's amazing that Democrats love to rant and rave about corporatism and about this and that and about money in politics. But when it's their money in politics, they're happy about it. When it's their corporatism, they're happy about it. When the open borders work for them, they're happy about it. And the gangs and the everything else, pretty amazing stuff. And you may remember that Benito Mussolini described fascism. He said fascism, you might as well call it corporatism, because it's a merger of state and corporate power. And William, what we see in the United States today, the marriage of the media and the Democrat Party is definitely a merger of state and corporate power. There is no doubt about that. And Benito Mussolini, who knew a thing or two about fascism, described fascism that way. And, we've got the Soviet-style communist programs being proposed by Kamala Harris, price gauging. She would call it price gauging. And, we're living in crazy times, William, are we not?
Yep. And, the Democrats are all bought and paid for by, by a bunch, banks, by, the different, green energy corporations. Again, that's one of the reasons why they, despise Kennedy. It's like, hey, what if you actually we're doing what the voters said and not what, your big donors were saying?
Crazy idea. That'd almost be like a constitutional republic, a democratic form of government. You can't have that. And, since whatever you said in there, William, reminded me that the Republicans on Capitol Hill yesterday came out with a report, a lengthy report about Joe Biden's family corruption and the merger between state and corporate power. A 292-page report. And in the report, they lay out the fact that the Biden family over the last 10 years has taken in $27 million from primarily foreign interests, and they also took in from their they've got the goods on everything, William. They've got a 2014 dinner 10 years ago that with a Russian oligarch, and the Russian oligarch sat down with Hunter Biden, and shortly after the dinner, hours after the dinner, transferred $3.5 million to Hunter Biden's firm. He's a Putinite Russian oligarch whose ill-gotten gains are being used to buy influence directly from the Biden family. And now the Republicans are saying, well, we've got to impeach Joe Biden. And it's like, a little bit late to the game from the Republicans on Capitol Hill, I've got to say. But they're also saying that he took in $8 million as vice president from Democrat Party benefactors, wink, wink, Democrat Party benefactors, millionaires and billionaires, who funneled $8 million to the Biden family while he was vice president for 8 years. That's $1 million a year. And the majority of them were framed as loans, but there is no evidence that any of the loans were ever paid back. They were the kind of loans that you don't have to pay back because the Biden organized crime family is an ongoing criminal syndicate, and the Republicans say they've got the receipts on $27 million going to the Biden family juggernaut since 2014, $27 million. That's pretty amazing stuff. We live in very corrupt times, William, very corrupt times.
Yep. Thank you very much, Chris Plant.
You bet. You bet. Thank you. Yeah, Fox News has the story. The Washington Post does not. President Biden engaged in impeachable conduct, House Republicans found on their months-long impeachment inquiry, declaring in their highly anticipated report that he abused his office and defrauded the United States to enrich his family. Fox News Digital obtained a copy of the 292-page report prepared by the House Oversight Committee, House Judiciary Committee, and the House Ways and Means Committee. Those panels have been leading the impeachment inquiry against President Biden. The committees have accumulated evidence demonstrating that President Biden has engaged in impeachable conduct. The report, which lays out evidence gathered to date, says Republicans said there is overwhelming evidence that Biden participated in a conspiracy to monetize his office of public trust, to enrich his family. That evidence has been in plain sight for years now. You do have to collect the paperwork and everything. And, I guess if Joe Biden were still the nominee, then the timing wouldn't be entirely bad because it would be the Democratic convention where they're renominating Joe Biden to be the next president of the United States. But now that he's out of there, I wonder how much of this the Democrats knew, since they are congressional investigations, and said, hey, we don't want this guy. When this report comes out of the House, we don't want Joe Biden to be our nominee. It might have been a part of the calculus on the part of Barack Obama and the others that are actually in charge of the Democrat Party, bunch of commies that they are. They allege that the Biden family and their business associates received tens of millions of dollars from foreign interests by leading those interests to believe that such payments would provide them with access to and influence with President Biden. No kidding. See, I knew that a couple of years ago. The committee said the Biden family and its associates received more than $27 million from foreign individuals or entities since 2014. See, that doesn't even count the additional $8 million while he was vice president from Democrat Party benefactors. So what is that now? 27 million plus 8 million is $35 million. Am I doing my gazintas correctly, Jethro Bodine? Yes, I am. They also allege the Biden family leveraged Biden's position as vice president to obtain more than $8 million in loans, never to be paid back, from Democrat Party benefactors. The loans have not been repaid, and the paperwork supporting many of the loans does not exist and has not been produced to the committees. Republicans say the conspiracies took place while Biden was serving as vice president. And, this is the stuff that ought to send you to prison. But instead, they're threatening to put Donald Trump in prison later this month. Then they're going to fire on Fort Sumter again.
We have great confidence in our son. He is the smartest man I know. I mean, in terms of pure intellectual capacity. And as long as he's good, we're good.
There's more on the Biden family corruption, too. Foreign money laundered through various entities and money from Romania, China, Kazakhstan, Ukraine, funneling into the Biden family coffers, and then 8 million more from donors buying influence. Not a problem, though. The New York Times has no interest in this. They'd shoot down anybody that does report on it. All right, let's grab another phone call now that we have things going here. Thanks to Jasmine. Let's go to Matt. Let's go to Matt calling from Charleston, South Carolina. Matthew, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, good morning, Chris.
Hey, Matt.
Listen, real quick, outside of what I called in for, I'm tired of Republicans keep putting out these reports. How come they can't do anything? We can't score. It really, if I don't know if I can say this, pisses me off. Mm-hmm. But anyway,
I know what you're talking. Everybody, I know what you're talking about, certainly, and here we are. And again, the timing on this, I guess, would be fine if Joe Biden were going to be the nominee at the convention, but he's not now.
Right, but I feel sorry for Joe Biden. It's kind of like sitting in the front pew and having your, because he's going to speak tonight, of course, but sitting in the front pew and having your father walk down your ex-wife to marry the guy that she cheated on with you. So look, he's my father was like this. I went through it, and all these people that said he was so smart and all that. But now I really feel sorry for him. He's going to leave today. He's going to fly out. He's not even going. He's done with it after he speaks or mumbles. I guess more is better.
Yeah,
he's going to mumble through it. But anyway, great show today, Chris, and it's going to be a great week.
It's going
to be a great week.
Going to be a fascinating week. There's no doubt about that. Matt, thanks very much. Now, if you're in Chicago this week, it's a good opportunity for you to get a free vasectomy. Chop, chop, fizz, fizz, snippy, snip. And then, ornamental whatevers. But you get it because Planned Parenthood, who knew that Planned Parenthood did vasectomies? Did they just get into this business a minute ago? Because they're going to Chicago and they've got a mobile van and probably more than one, but they're bragging about it on their X account, Planned Parenthood, Great Rivers. It's from Great Rivers. It's got to be a joke in there somewhere. And they've got a picture of like their Winnebago, and they go around giving abortions. They're giving free abortions and free vasectomies at the Democratic National Convention because you might begin to think they just don't like people. They think fewer people on the planet would be a good thing. I think fewer people like them on the planet would be a good thing. But that's where we are on planet Earth. Planned Parenthood on X, Great Rivers. Here we come, Chicago, ! And then a little emoji of a vehicle. Our mobile health clinic, it's a mobile health clinic. Doesn't deliver health for everyone, but our mobile health clinic will be in the West Loop, downtown Chicago, with Shy Abortion Fund and the Wiener Circle. The Wiener Circle, I guess that would be the vasectomies, the Wiener Circle, right? You go to the Wiener Circle because they say they're going to be there August 19th and August 20th. That's today and tomorrow, providing free as in all capital letters, vasectomies and medical abortions. Sure, I think that's probably the best thing. Oh, I'm sorry, I misread that. Medication abortions. EC will also be available for free without an appointment. What is EC? I don't know what that is. The Democrats they've got a code book, I think, don't they? EC, hey, yeah, they all know what EC is. So the Wiener Circle, I like the Shy Abortion Fund and the Wiener Circle and free vasectomies and medication abortion. EC will also be available for free without an appointment. Maybe I don't want to know. It's quite possible. And then they've got a link here, and you can reserve your spot. Like to come down and do the chop, could we? And I'm a man. I'd like to come down for an abortion. They'd say okay. I think they'd probably say okay. Now, this was first sent to me by a friend yesterday afternoon in a text message, and I went searching for it on Al Gore's amazing internet, peace be upon him. And I found a story, and it was the only story that I found. It was kind of a remarkable thing, I thought. The Newsweek magazine people did a story, but the story isn't about the fact that Planned Parenthood is going to Chicago for the Democratic National Convention to give free abortions and free vasectomies. That's not the story. Here's the headline. Marjorie Taylor Greene, that's the beginning of the headline. Marjorie Taylor Greene attacks, quote, free vasectomies and abortions, end quote. Near DNC. When they say near DNC, I guess they won't be doing them on the stage where the speakers will be. They're doing it outside the building. Therefore, the people at Newsweek want to say it's near the DNC. And why is it the story about Marjorie Taylor Greene? Why isn't the story? And the story says that Marjorie Taylor Greene attacks free abortions and free vasectomies at the Democratic National Convention. Why don't you do the story about the free abortions and the free vasectomies at the Democratic National Convention, then maybe one sentence from Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene saying, this is crazy, isn't it? That's how it would normally go. But instead, they gloss over the free abortions and the free vasectomies by making it a story attacking Marjorie Taylor Greene, who they love to attack. She's a Republican woman and, not a Democrat. So that's the problem. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia, a MAGA Republican and one of Donald Trump's closest allies, that's the lead sentence of the story. So it's a political hatchet job, a political attack piece. They haven't gotten to but I'll get to it in a second. Has described Planned Parenthood's initiative to offer free vasectomies and medication abortion near next week's Democratic National Convention in Chicago, Illinois, as, quote, heartbreaking, end quote. So that's their lead paragraph there. Isn't that an amazing thing? The story is not about free abortions at the DNC, not about free vasectomies. It's about Marjorie Taylor Greene saying she finds it heartbreaking. But it's not an endorsement of her finding it heartbreaking, of course. It's an attack on her. I thought it was fake, but it's not, she wrote on an X post on Saturday. Planned Parenthood is going to provide free vasectomies and abortions at the Democratic National Convention this upcoming week, she added. It's hard to even comprehend, and it's truly heartbreaking. Being a mother is the most precious gift. Choose life. Oh, they produce what she said here, and what she said is perfectly sane and rational. Planned Parenthood, Newsweek magazine continues, Planned Parenthood Great Rivers, which describes itself as the leading provider, educator, and protector of sexual and reproductive health care in the St. Louis region. St. Louis, it's not even Chicago. Plans to run a mobile health center. It's not health for everyone. Near the Democratic National Convention on August 19th and August 20th, today and tomorrow. those who have scheduled an appointment according to reports. Well, this is a report. Why don't you check on it and report your own report? Will be able to get a vasectomy or medication abortion for free, while emergency contraception, that's the EC, emergency contraception will be provided without appointment. Newsweek contacted Marjorie Taylor Greene's spokesperson and Planned Parenthood Great Rivers for comment by email on Sunday morning, and apparently got nothing back. Isn't that amazing? So Marjorie Taylor Greene tweeted out, "I thought it was fake, but it's not. Planned Parenthood going to provide free vasectomies and abortions. Democratic National Convention this upcoming week." I think that's worth a standalone story by Newsweek magazine. I think it's probably the first time in history. See, the Democrats are making history once again by having free abortions at their Democratic National Convention, and snip for the boys, because they don't want people. They hate people. They're saving the environment. Kill all the people. Just amazing. Amazing stuff. And the story is actually an attack, a mock of Marjorie Taylor Greene. Just amazing stuff. And Newsweek goes on to say that according to Planned Parenthood, that's their source, a vasectomy can cost from $0. Sure, just turn yourself over to ISIS. They'll give you a vasectomy for free. To $1,000. And but they're going to give them for free because of vasectomy. You've got to make an appointment. They want you to make an appointment to get your free vasectomy. Amazing stuff. And your free abortion because, kids. What's the matter with kids these days? Pretty amazing stuff. Let's go. We've got the Democrats showed up. The anti-Israel Democrats showed up. They hate the Jews from the river to the sea. And they showed up and decided that they're crazy. They're pro-Hamas loons in Chicago, thousands and thousands of them. This is yesterday, and it was supposed to be pro-Palestine, but Planned Parenthood, abortion, LGBTQ. There is an epidemic of mental illness, and we call it the Democrat Party, on the streets of Chicago yesterday. Free Palestine. What is it? You're in Chicago at the Democratic Convention. Joe Biden has been presiding over this war. What is it, 11 months the war has been going on now? Joe Biden's administration is a period of war in Europe, war in the Middle East. President Trump's 4 years in office, a period of peace, of prosperity, of sanity and control. You people are insane. What did I see today? Somebody saying, my left-wing idiot relative said, "You're voting for Trump? I can't believe you're voting for Trump." And the response was, "Well, I'm voting for the First Amendment. I'm voting for free speech. I'm voting for the free practice of religion. I'm voting for the Second Amendment. I'm voting for the Bill of Rights. I'm voting for the Constitution." Because the Democrat Party is dismantling and demolishing the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, the rule of law, free speech. They hate Elon Musk, who self-describes as a middle-of-the-road Democrat all his life, and to this day, middle-of-the-road Democrat. Said that to President Trump when he spoke to him. Was it just last week? Amazing stuff. So they're out there, and they got their bullhorns, and they got their LGBTQ. Again, Hamas throws gay people off of rooftops and kills them. Iran hangs gay people from cranes while the crowd chants Allahu Akbar. You guys are supporting, and then you say that we're supporting genocide while you're supporting genocide. No sense of irony, you people. Chicago, they love their slogans and they hate the police. They learned from the 1960s, everything they know. And the police are the pigs, man. They're the pigs, you see, and the piggies must be killed.
Piggy, piggy, go back home! Or we'll bring the war home!
Piggy, piggy, go back home!
Go back home! Or we'll bring the war home!
or we'll bring the war home.
Piggy, go back home.
Now, that is a direct threat of violence to the police, of course, or we'll bring the war home. Is that right? It says, good thing there were no rooftop snipers there, I guess. Piggy, go. This is the Democrat Party. They got free abortions and vasectomies. Piggy, go back home, or we'll bring the war home. And free Palestine for gay people, because everybody knows it's a haven for gay people who want to die today. If you're gay and you're suicidal, go volunteer in Gaza, and the situation will take care of itself. It's a win-win, because they enjoy throwing gay people off of rooftops and killing them. And if you want to commit suicide, it's the perfect solution, I think. Just amazing. Also in Chicago, there's this pro-Hamas person. I can't say whether it's a man or a woman because the person appears to be without gender. And the person crashed the Democrat Party on Navy Pier, which is designed to welcome all the Democrats to Chicago. They wanted to welcome the Democrats to Chicago. And never mind that there were 30 people shot and 5 people killed in Chicago over the weekend. That's not a thing. But the Democrats stormed the stage and ripped the microphone away because they're a violent, mentally ill gang of rabble, and this one is genderless.
Y'all can do better than that. Mike DeMoney!
150,000 people are dead.
That's not true.
A genocide.
That's not true either.
Keeps funding money to Israel.
Free Palestine, a genderless person who would be killed on day one in Gaza, accusing Israel of committing genocide, while Hamas is dedicated in their charter to perpetrating genocide, and they're supporting Hamas, so they are supporting genocide while accusing the innocent party that was attacked by Hamas and the greatest massacre of Jews since the end of World War II. And these Democrats who are genderless, and she might need, it sounded like a she, might need a vasectomy rather than an abortion while there, but isn't that amazing? And it said 150,000 dead, which is a lie. According to the Associated Press, the United Nations, 40,000 dead in Gaza, perfectly a serious number. But you have to come out and say 150,000 dead. And why aren't they angry about the hundreds of thousands dead in Ukraine and Russia from the war there, where it's way over 500,000, probably closer to 1 million dead? Isn't that amazing? Your Democrat Party. And that's the day before the convention started. Today, the convention actually starts. And Joe Biden is going to speak, allegedly, if he doesn't have a breakdown or fall through an open trap door on the stage or whatever. And and the platform, the Democrat Party platform, still says they're making Joe Biden their nominee. These are the people that want to run the free world, be in charge of the free world. If you're voting for them, there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with your brain. You haven't been paying attention for a very long time. I am here to help. Stay right there. Keep listening. Never turn the channel. A month from now, you'll be a much more intelligent person. Wow, your Democrat Party. And the fun really hasn't started. Yeah, I ran up on stage, grabbed the microphone away, stole the microphone, and then, just had mental issues. Lied about a number of things, demonstrated that he, she, it doesn't follow the news, has no idea what's going on. But maybe she can get a vasectomy while she's there.
They botched my vasectomy.
They botched it?
I'm even more potent now.
Well, I've got some news out of Chicago. Planned Parenthood has put out a statement saying, thank you for your interest in getting an abortion or a vasectomy with Planned Parenthood Mobile Death Clinic. Currently, all free vasectomy and medication abortion appointments are filled. All the appointments have been filled. Please check this link frequently in case patients cancel. Maybe they'll die or commit suicide or something. And we are able to open additional appointment slots. Also, this is pretty wacky. I've got to say, my friend Ray Stevens in Chicago texted me to point out the Wiener Circle, where they're directing people to go for your vasectomy, is a well-known hot dog joint. You know, Chicago has the best hot dogs in the world, Vienna hot dogs and Chicago style and the poppy seed buns and the most delicious hot dogs in the world. Nothing like that around Washington, D.C., and New York hot dogs are nothing compared to Chicago hot dogs. That's a fact check. But turns out the Wiener Circle, where Planned Parenthood is directing people to go for a vasectomy, is a well-known hot dog joint. You got hot dogs and French fries and a Coke, and they're real good eating. And then you can get snip, and then you'll be, chop. And that's to a hot dog place, because I wonder if you get a free hot dog. Probably got to pay for the hot dog because, you got the vasectomy for, and the abortion, you get the medication abortion for free, and then you got to buy the hot dog at the Wiener Circle. The Wiener Circle is where you go. That's a political statement by the Wiener Circle, no doubt about it. Hey, the Planned Parenthood mobile death mobile is going to be set up. They just run the exhaust pipe into the back of the vehicle like the Norgies used to do. The Norgies used to do that. That's a crazy bunch. Also, reports coming out now that Kamala Harris met with pro-Palestinian activists in Detroit. They're the party of genocide. They're not against it. They're actually for it now.